Everybody talking Brad Pitt in space. Everybody talking about it. Shot him to finally shot him to the moon, and he's out there looking for his daddy. It's Pappy out there.
I'm steady, calm, ready to do my job to the best of my abilities.
I feel there's energy in the room, Martin. 5 people in the room, Martin. That's just 5. Imagine when we're in a room full of people. We go to LA, man. It's live, October 18th. Get your tickets now. You're going to want to do that because we are more than halfway sold out for the show, and we're at a month now. Oh, but yeah, Brad Pitt. Don't y'all say nothing about no daddy issues. This across the galaxy to go find where his daddy is. Because he plays an astronaut in the future. And it turns out, you know, he probably thought it was a lie all these years when he asked his mom, where my daddy at? On the moon? No, for real, my ways. Mom never told me where my daddy ran off to. Turns out, no, his father, who was also an astronaut, working on Project Lima. Turns out that played by Tommy Lee Jones. And I got to tell you, I think this will happen for real. Tommy Lee Jones is so angry. You've seen Tommy Lee Jones don't laugh, don't smile or nothing. Mm-hmm. Even from across the galaxy, even from light years away, Tommy Lee Jones has still found a way to fuck up the earth.
Doesn't it seem like Tommy Lee Jones is so mad that he would go to the ends of the galaxy just to get away from everybody?
And still find a way to just fuck up the planet. People looking up in space. Is it an asteroid? No, it's Tommy Lee Jones. But no, they shot him into space, and it turns out that Brad Pitt's father, played by Tommy Lee Jones, is so angry and grumpy and crazy that he's sending waves from across the galaxy that can still destroy the planet,
killing thousands of people.
And so NASA, whatever the equivalent of that is in the future.
The military arm of NASA.
The military arm.
It's Trump's Space Force. He actually did it.
But they look at Brad Pitt and they say, man, okay, we'd like for you to do us a favor. Get in this rocket ship. Go to Mars and talk to your dad and tell him to quit f***ing with us. We don't care if he doesn't come back. In fact, keep his ass over. They just tell him to calm his ass down. Uh-huh. And of course, Brad Pitt is like, well, you know what? I've always wanted to see my old pappy anyway, so it's a bonus. You know, you send me up there to talk to him. I get to be reunited with my daddy. And what other father-son reunions have you seen where they actually save the earth? Mm-hmm. It's a good deal for everybody, I believe.
And now it's fate.
We have a job to do.
I'm ready.
Now, what you want to hear is, all right, guys. People been telling me that this is the one. If you like Martin and you say, out of things like Spider-Man, Avengers, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, other great films. If you're saying that 2019 is just full of shit, like Martin's over, he's like, then you're saying that this might be the one. If critics are right, this might be the one to save 2019.
Well, you see that Rotten Tomatoes score, you know.
Of course. Hey, it was in the 90s. No, it's gone down to 80s.
Yeah, 80s. Still pretty good.
Still pretty good. Yeah, no, 80s is fine. 80s is worth paying money to go see a movie. Well, I'll tell you this much. If you just want to go see a movie that is just majestic in its visuals, then this is the movie that you're probably going to want to see. Like if there's any, I'm going to tell you this movie here, more than a lot of other movies that I've seen, this movie worked for that IMAX screen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it earned that IMAX really screen.
It has so much scope. What they put in production-wise, it's, you think of the great space movies that do that, like even recent stuff like First Man and Gravity. It has all that in there.
Yeah, this is what this wants to do. It looks to try and capture the great feats that man has done to colonize space. And they show you, and at the same time, while we don't have these things right now, it feels very tangible. Mm-hmm. Even as incredible and somewhat still in the area of sci-fi that it feels. I mean, because what it opens up with, these are things that we say we might have in our times, but even our minds can't really fathom this. Like the movie opens up with this tower, this tall tower that that has been built on Earth, built in land, but it's so tall that it's almost about to leave our atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you look at that, and while you're looking at it, you know, and you saw some of this in the, some of this in the trailer. But you know, when you're looking at it, you say, "Damn, wouldn't that be crazy if somebody fell off of that?" And the movie's like, "Yeah, it would." It just kicks Brad Pitt off that shit. No, wait a minute, no. You go. Sucks to be him. Should put his belt on like I did. It's an incredible set piece as far as not only just giving you the scope of this, but also letting you know what it feels like to be in that place in such a disaster that almost kills them.
Yeah.
I mean, it really pulls you in right at the beginning. It's amazing. It's a great way to bring the audience in. You see the dangers of what they're doing because this is a new. They tell you constantly. They like, look, this is like the when we were discovering new frontiers.
Right. The
back
first
in the
time,
settler days.
Yeah, the first time launching a manned mission into outer space.
Yeah.
It's new technology. We got it going well so far, but we ultimately don't know for sure what we're doing.
No, and and they just people die every day, and they just kind of like, well, what'd you expect?
Yeah.
With space, somebody gonna die,
Right.
and that's what makes these films about space so engrossing because it is the unknown. It is something that we still have no clue of as we're trying to not even conquer but adapt to it. And it's
a level of courage that you couldn't imagine.
The people that are willing to sacrifice themselves. I'm telling you, there's a lot of ways I want to die, but not in space.
No.
Space, I don't even know what makes people want to sign up for shit like this. Like when kids talk about they want to be an astronaut.
They want to wear the suit.
Yeah, they see the suit. Let them watch a man blow up in the middle of space.
Right.
Let them see somebody get sucked out of vacuum or, somebody freeze and shit up in space and break apart. It's this is one of the things that really, just that notion, that danger, that sacrifice pulls people in. This movie captures that, I think, better than anything I've seen, man. The thing that it wants to do is that it wants to capture the quiet of space. It's focusing on mood, setting up beautiful compositions, and it's doing this over being fast and loud. Because listen, the thing with this is that even though it might not feel like one in its tone or its pacing, this is a sci-fi blockbuster.
I suppose it is. I mean, they spent money on it like it was.
It has everything that a sci-fi blockbuster would have. Special effects, it has a lot of action in it, but at the same time, it wants to set up all, the mood and the visuals, the beautiful visuals, and it wants to set up compositions, and it wants to do that over being fast and loud. I don't know if somebody gave them a script where it was just a pretty straightforward sci-fi blockbuster and they decided to give it the more art house treatment.
Yeah.
But but I appreciate what they've done with that because, when they do it this way, when they take it slow, they're very methodical with it and very artsy in a way with its visuals. They're always telling you that while we might have conquered some aspects of space colonization, space is still there to tell you you ain't shit.
Right.
It's you will get so far, but you will never conquer it. And that is the message of this movie. It's always, with its visuals, always telling you that this is, no matter how much of a spectacle you put on, you will always seem small and minuscule. It is an action movie in certain ways. When you look at it, I mean, this thing has spaceships. Martin's got man-eating monkeys.
Yeah,
space monkeys. Yeah, you got man-eating space monkeys in this. You have scenes, like I said, man, they pretty much have car chases in space. They have space pirates. They even have space pirates, some shit that you've seen in cartoons.
Yeah.
They got that here, and even though these things have more of an artistic approach in their action, it's still exciting. They have a buggy chase, a dune buggy chase with space pirates on the moon.
Yeah.
Now, anytime you wrote that, they'd be like, okay, what kid show is this?
Yeah. So what scene does Darth Vader show up in?
Yeah. They actually not only managed a way to make this artistic, but also just kind of make it feel very mature, which in that sense makes it feel very real.
Possible pirate activity.
I have a puncture.
We need...
threw that nigga out like threw him out like a paper cup. He's like, shit, he's like, I didn't like this motherfucker anyway. Move, bitch. I want you to keep in mind what I was saying before. That is an action scene in the film, and yet it was muted. It was very quiet. It was graceful.
Yeah,
almost. That is the mood that they want to capture with space, and it feel like I said. That's what makes it feel real. You know, this isn't doing some dumb shit like, you know, Armageddon or something. You know, this feels very tangible. And one of the reasons why they want to do that is because, you know, throughout the film, you have Brad Pitt, who is, he's pretty much alone in his mission, you know, which makes his mission much more frightening. Because he's pretty much going up against space.
Yeah.
He's going up against the odds to, you know, more and more, he starts out with a crew and more these people start to drop off for different reasons. Not always because of death or anything, but they start to drop off for different reasons to where he's left alone to go across the galaxy to find his father with no guarantee of return. Think how scary it is when you see somebody in the middle of the ocean by themselves alone at night. You think about space being exciting and fun because we saw these space adventures and shit. When you see Brad Pitt just floating by himself, it's like cinematography is amazing in this movie in the way it reflects, you know, just how you know almost you know worthless we are in the big scheme of things.
Compared to space, that's why we need to just stay our asses right here.
Yeah, and we talking about building like moon, like rockets to take us, you know, casually for vacation to the moon. You better keep your ass here on Earth.
Yeah, all you need is some of these.
Yeah,
Bang, soon.
shit. You know, shit. Greyhound bus. If something happened, they just pull over and change the tire. You know, shit. You mad at a rock? Something happened to a rocket in space? Like, oh fuck! I love the way that it shows how humanity has adapted to these conditions. I mean, we're talking about how, you know, it's frightening, it's scary and whatnot, but at the same time, I think this is, and I can say more than any other movie that I've seen as far as being futuristic, this is the one that made me, I looked at it and I thought, wow, you know, now that feels like this could really be a possibility.
It does, like whatever you think of as the most realistic space movie, this one bridges the gap.
Mainly because when you see how they colonize shit,
you
know,
it's colonized.
They do, man. It's very believable because we either fighting or we're making things look like a strip mall.
Right.
You know, we just colonized the moon. We just got there. And what do? The moment we get there, we start fighting and build a subway.
Yeah.
Subway sandwiches.
Yeah.
And that's what they say. There's a war on the moon. What the f are you fighting for on the moon?
I know. The whole point of going to the moon was to get away from all the wars.
Yeah. You fighting for rocks and Subway sandwiches? I mean, what the f y'all fighting for on the moon? But that's the message. The message is that, and this, again, I like this aspect of it too. In addition to, you know, what we've been talking about, they've been talking about how, you know, and this is a way to deliver it, not some real cheesy, heavy-handed way. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, we have all these grand reasons for traveling to other planets and looking for life and colonizing other worlds. And really, when you get down to it, when we do it, it's the same old bullshit.
Hey, man, you got to pay for that somehow.
Yeah, I guess.
And Subway sandwiches is the way.
Yeah. You know, we're always talking about to better humanity.
Oh, the DHL. Where are they delivering to?
Earth. I mean, you're going to get your package for a couple of years, but, you know. Man, can you imagine if you get the wrong package from the moon?
I know.
Man, I need my medication. But I guess you're going to die unless you want to go to the moon yourself.
Sorry, you sent the wrong item. I need to return this.
You know how you can go to FedEx and DHL to like make a complaint? I'm coming over there. Goddamn.
I know.
You know, yeah, no matter where we go, we take our bullshit with us, man. And I like that. But but with this movie, it never feels heavy-handed, you know? What they do, what I like about it is that they give you glimpses of this world. This war that they fighting over, you don't know what they're fighting about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this whole thing with these space pirates, you don't even know who they are. You don't even know what they're fighting about.
What are they stealing?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, exactly. Shit, I was just mad because one of them had like a skull and crossbones on that shit. Have an eye patch on their helmet and shit. And they got a little pirate, like a parrot in an astronaut's costume. As far as the world goes, you put these things together and you try to, you just use your imagination. It leaves that up to us. But everything else is playing in the background. It's playing in the background because that's it's kind of not the main focus. I tell you, throughout the movie, I am amazed at the scope of what they've done with the film. I'm sitting up here and I'm amazed at how the scope is working for everything in this movie, except characters and story for me.
For you, really?
Yeah.
Because see, okay, I mean, we get all this, but the main message isn't even that stuff you said. It's all about the it's father versus son. It's kind of a meditation on that, like reconciling with your father and different issues you've had. And I think it's obvious to tell that this is a very deep and important movie because after all that stuff you said, it gets boring as
Yes.
Oh
yes,
my
it does.
God! You see that trailer and you think you're about to see a solid action movie that's well put together, brother. You don't know.
Yeah.
Once again, I apologies to Ryan Gosling with First Man, where I was complaining about him being mopey and not giving me enough character. That was plenty compared to this second version of it.
Man,
just sullen and tight-lipped, and long travels out to where they were going.
Oh yeah,
for this watered down confrontation that is supposed to be so important, but just couldn't be more trite.
That's another reason why kids don't want to be astronauts to be showing this movie because I'm gonna be like, that's it.
That's it. Oh my God, are we there yet? Are we there?
Yeah,
that's the astronaut saying that, not the kids.
Yeah. They're gonna be like, God damn, man, being an astronaut is boring.
Yeah.
All I do is just float and narrate shit. I really want to come in and like not criticize the movie too much because what it does great. What it does amazing.
The stuff it does good, it does great.
And I'm gonna tell you, when you saw that scene where that dude got shot, that was the plot.
Seriously, man.
Everything when that dude got shot, everything came to a standstill. After this scene,
yeah. Whoever cut that trailer is a genius because they really made it look like this was going to be an exciting movie, and all that stuff happens so early in the film.
It does
that it starts to slow down. So when those space baboons come in, I'm like, all right, what am I watching now?
The characters in here are just not strong.
No.
At least I don't think. I mean, it gets to points in here where when I left, the characters are so, not to me, this isn't me like trying to sit up here and just be hypercritical about the film, but I'm going to be honest with you. The characters are so as far as their personalities, non-existent. I forgot that some of these people even in the movie.
Well,
Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
First of all, she's hardly in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But
she's kind of a main character.
But she's kind of a main character. But I forgot that she was in the movie. Shit, Donald Sutherland. I forgot Donald Sutherland was even in this.
Yeah, Ruth Negga shows up and then she's gone.
Yeah, I don't. Half these people I don't even remember being in the movie because they're not memorable. There's not one goddamn character that I cared about.
No,
in this one, not one.
No.
Not one. I mean, it was cool watching them float and shoot at space pirates and ride dune buggies and everything. But as far as having any emotional attachment to them, I had none. And the reason why is because the quiet approach that they took towards the film, as far as space, as far as tone, they tried to apply that to the characters. And it doesn't work. When you try to apply that same quiet approach to these characters, it sucks them dry of any kind of emotion or personality that they have.
Right. Setting Brad Pitt up as somebody who has problems with his father that I guess he wants to resolve, but not expressing himself. If the whole movie is being quiet and your main guy is being quiet, you got nowhere to go.
Nothing.
You got nothing to attach yourself to.
Look, first of all, I want to be like you, man, and just say, well, I don't want to disparage anybody who saw the movie at a film festival and you thought it was great, or if some critics see it and they talk about it as the best movie of the year, because visually yes, it is an amazing looking film. Visually, I would say that this is probably the contender for best cinematography, probably even up there for effects. But these characters can kiss my ass. You know, I fuck them. I'm just letting you know how it is. Shit, I mean, again, I'll go back to my old expression. If you don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck.
That's kind of what it came down to.
Look, I get it. You know, they probably chose Brad Pitt because, look, Brad Pitt at 55, yes, he's still pretty.
Yeah.
He's fine as but that don't mean I just want to see his ass just floating in space. You know, and what I mean by that is that, you know, his character, he has a little more emotion than the average character in there because he is the main character. But unlike you, man, I mean, now look, I like this movie that I'm about to mention. I gave First Man a full price because again, I talked about how I love that urgency of like these guys sacrifice themselves for space. Yeah. But my criticism was of what's his name, Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
But space exploration changes your perception.
Now, everything that Ryan Gosling has to say in this movie, he says it. You know, he says it with his dialogue. And at the same time, you know, and it's the same theme too, a guy going against the odds of space. But, you know, there are moments where he will at least emote. You know, like right here. You know, at least he looks scared. Shit, if that was Brad Pitt, he'd still be staring. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the character isn't Major, what's his name? He's Brad Pitt. You're supposed to like him because he's Brad Pitt.
Ryan Gosling gonna cry at some point. If Ryan Gosling can sit through a whole 2-hour movie just looking like this. But about the hour mark, about the hour and a half mark, he's gonna you know? Somebody gonna put some cereal in his face. You know, we'll get something. You know that, and we kind of get that from Brad Pitt, but not enough. Not enough. And here's the thing that's the difference. The main difference between First Man and Ad Astra is that Ad Astra, again, I just said this. The movie. It allows the characters to speak their dialogue, and when they're not speaking their dialogue, the movie speaks for itself. You know, they're not filling in any kind of blanks in there. They're not, you know, they don't distrust the audience to the point where they got to fill it in with narration.
Right.
The narration in this that Brad Pitt does is not needed at all. I tell you, man, I'll tell you right now, I never want to see a movie where Brad Pitt and Ryan Gosling go to space together. That would be the most boring space adventure. This, despite its high aspirations, is still a very simple story.
It's so simple.
It's a A to B.
That's why it infuriates me is that to read people reading so much into it and with what a meditation it is on the conflict between fathers and sons.
Shut the
I was like, fathers and sons that actually have deeper, much bigger divides and things that they're be at odds at. It don't require going across the galaxy to solve it, which they barely do.
I mean, I get it. It's kind of cool. I mean, that's some deep shit, you know, some deep shit that your dad is still whooping your ass from across the galaxy, you know. I mean, that's cool and everything, but I really, a lot of people are they're looking deep, and this is just me. Hey, look, I ain't gonna speak for Martin, I'm gonna speak for myself. Maybe I'm just too dumb to get it. But a lot of critics are walking into this and they're talking about how much this is a meditation, not only on fatherhood and the relationship with their son, but again of space and what that is for me. I mean, look, this is yes, visually it is there. And there are some very deep things in it. We mentioned it. Give the movie high praise for that. But as far as the story goes, that shit is a very simple A to B plot line. Y'all need to get off that shit. The reason why it pisses me off that it goes this long, and I don't hate the movie, but it pisses me off that it goes this long because it's trying to be some shit that it ain't. Now, some of the things you were talking about, I'm gonna bring up a couple. I'm gonna see if these are the same things that you're thinking of. First of all, I want you to see the connection between these two scenes right here. It very much wants to be Apocalypse Now in space.
Yep.
I want you to see a scene from Apocalypse Now where Martin Sheen gets orders for his mission.
You've heard of Colonel Walter E. Kurtz? Your mission is to terminate the Colonel's command.
Terminate with extreme prejudice.
Look at that, and look at the. By the way, I will say, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't have big aspirations, because I'm gonna tell you, it's a great setup for a mystery. Just because it's feeling like Apocalypse Now doesn't mean that it's wrong. And it at the beginning of the movie, it actually worked. And you'll see the similarity between that and this scene I'm trying to show you right now.
That might come as quite a shock to you. We believe your father is still alive near Neptune.
My father's alive, sir?
He can get a whooping.
Does he know that I was shoplifting?
He's still mad about that window. you to tell him nothing, do you?
We would like you to send a personal message on Mars by secure laser to what we hope is the Lima Project.
Yeah, I'll tell him. I ain't gonna tell him shit. Last time I said shit to him, he beat my ass.
He doesn't still have that belt, does he?
Yeah. You see how it has a similar setup, and it has actually a similar follow through. At the same time, though, what it really wants to do visually and almost to a point narratively, it wants to be 2001.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick. But it wants to be that so much that if you look at now, 2001 was made in the 60s. This movie has a 60s aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
They got 60s furniture in there. The moment I saw that, I was like, geez, you're trying to be 2001 A Space Odyssey. And you're not. I mean, I'm not going to hold every space movie against it.
No, but it's just when I'm reading all these things about how original it is, I'm like, come on.
Well, no, it's not. Like, I'm not going to hold every movie against it, but at the same time, it's so straightforward that it ain't that original.
It's not.
And I'm not even, like, again, compared to space. It is a straightforward, any kind of mission movie, whether it's soldiers on Earth, spy film, it's a straightforward A to B. We need you to get this person.
Yeah.
Go there and have adventures along the way. That's all it is, really. It's not that deep. Don't let these, this slow pace and these contemplative shots and out in space and what. Don't let that shit make you think it's that deep. Everybody don't want to look like they're dumb,
right?
Everybody reading shit into this. It ain't that fucking deep. I love the filmmaking. I love the atmosphere. I love this world that they built. That's another thing that really makes it frustrating. It was smart enough not to tell you every little detail about this world, let you put that together, but yet it's over narrating itself. A dialogue you don't need. And I tell you that because, again, there are small touches in here that are amazing. Amazing. There's stuff in here that is so weird. And you don't, and again, they just let it happen. I don't know if I don't want to play anything too long or anything like that, but this is a good example of what I'm talking about. Brad Pitt is always being monitored. He's always being monitored to make sure that he's not stressed, his emotional state is intact, his mental state is intact. And they don't really go into deeply why, except that you need to just be in top physical and mental health to go in space. But it's got to a point where it's very intrusive. Everywhere he goes, they are monitoring him. And it's almost it feels kind of creepy in a way, but they don't over address it.
We have something of classified nature to show you.
What can you tell us about the Lima Project?
Some 20.
Is she gonna write him a ticket after this? You were talking 5 miles over the speed limit. But there's things like that, like weird images of people just sitting around, doing stuff like this with no explanation, which is brilliant. Brilliant. This is the world that is left for you to put together, which makes you feel like it's more part of the world. Too bad you feel like you're alone in this world. And it really makes me kind of disappointed that they did that. If you want to see a visual masterpiece, a gorgeous rendered vision of the future that felt plausible, then that's what you want to see here. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you know that's what you're getting into. And for some people, they read into this and they find messages that we don't see. So, I can't tell you that you probably won't like it better. But I have to say, because I spent so much time with characters that I found, that I just found boring, and I was bored. I was like you, Martin. See, I saw you. I saw that head. You were fighting too, boy. And I remember I was looking at you, like your head was doing this, and I was actually looking at you. My head was going like that. It's like I was falling asleep a little bit too, man. I can't go to the rating that I want to. I mean, for a while, this was a very much a full price movie. Very much what I thought would be one of the best movies of the year. But I had to knock it down to a matinee. I wanted more than just a cinematic experience. If that's enough for you, then I highly recommend it. Or if you want to take a chance with the reviews that you've heard talking about how this is one of the best movies of the year, then see for yourself. But for me, I walked out pretty much saying, it's a solid matinee.
Well, I guess, I feel like if somebody were to hear what we said and say, hey, I don't care about it being dull, it looks gorgeous and I want to see it.
Yeah.
Or screw you guys, I like cerebral movies, then don't just go see it. Go see it in IMAX. Best I could really recommend was watch the first half of it and then have the strength to get up and leave. And don't stick by for the rest, because all it does is just taint everything you saw up to that point. I wish I could be as enthusiastic about you even still. I mean, for all the great things that are in it and that you have especially highlighted, I just having such a thin story spread over two plus hours. I mean, it's everything I complained about with It too, but even more so. It's in here. I don't even have characters to attach some liking to. I mean, just that 2 hours and just nobody you could like. And even if somebody came on that you could, they don't let them stick around long enough. For me, it's a rental.
Oh, okay. I thought you had more.
No.
I was like, damn, he's on the roll. They should have sat down and watched Gravity. And say, that's what we're going to do. Gravity has, it says, you know what? We know that we have a great movie here, but we ain't going to try to have aspirations beyond this.
Yeah. This is okay. It's almost like, well, George Clooney made Solaris, so Brad Pitt was like, all right, well, I got to make my own version of that.
Yeah. Gravity, Gravity knew exactly what it was doing.
It did.
It had Sandra Bullock say, I got to get the back to earth.
Something anybody could identify with.
And she got her ass moving. Not once did she stop to say, I wish I could go home. Wonder what my grandmother's doing now. Some shit. No, they know exactly what the they were, and they did it. And still won an Oscar.
Yeah. And it almost feels like story-wise as if there was more to it that they cut out just to build up Brad Pitt's character so we can see the real how he's affected by what his father did. But it's almost like it's not there, and they just kind of tell us.
Yeah.
And you don't, it's like, that's what you say.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I still think I know we're on different opinions here. I still think it's a great film in many aspects, but I just wish for myself, I wish I had more shit. Maybe they'll send Don Cheadle to space next or some shit.
Have a big Ocean's 11 in space.
Ocean's 11, yeah. Shit,
they have to rip off the space.
I was about to say, maybe they'll do a space heist. I mean, not Ocean's 11 is crazy anyway.
Right.
Maybe we'll find out Sandra Bullock and all those guys were the same characters. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. You know what? While you're still here, why don't you hit that subscribe button? You ain't going anywhere. Get notifications. And since you love us so much and you want more of us, go check out our main site, doubletoasted.com. Over there, you'll find the full video like this one, along with many others, uncensored, unedited. And you'll also find the live streams that we do almost every night of the week. Support us at our store, dtmerch.com. Buy some stuff. But if nothing else, just do me one favor, and that is stay toasted.